Hello, today we're going to walk you through on the installation of your dual projector retrofit build for your Subaru WRX limited and STI LED headlights. This installation guide is for our customers who have selected the quad demon eye setup with the quad halo setup along with the switchback C light from Dial Dynamics. So let's go ahead and walk you through the parts that you're going to be using and connecting to the battery and where to lay them on the actual vehicle and how to connect them to the actual headlights. Beautiful headlight. It has the Dial Dynamics switchback C light with the dual RGB Morimoto XBT halos and XBT demon eyes with the Mini H1 version 7.0 bi-xenon projector retrofitted into the bowl of the high beam DRL area. Now on the back of the headlight housing you will see a couple of wires, and they are labeled. This is the halo connection, labeled halos, and they do have a white GST connection. On this side you're going to see the demon eye setup, and they are labeled as DI for demon eye, and these GST connections are black. Right behind that is the actual bulb for the Mini H1 version 7.0. This is the bulb connection that you're going to hook up the bulb connector to and plug that into the HID system, to the relay, to the battery in order for this kit to actually work. Bulb is this black driver. This is Dial Dynamics. This is the driver that controls the C light. And it's already connected to the actual headlight housing. That way all you have to really do is just hook this up to the headlight harness for plug and play use, and the C light's already going to work. The only thing that is not hooked up is a turn signal wire, which is this yellow wire. There is a pin connection right here, T-tap, that you're going to have to splice into the OEM turn signal harness that we have labeled in the instructional guide on your email on how that is done and which wire that is. That's where this hooks up in order for this kit to actually work for switchback turn signal use. Since you have quad halos and quad demon eyes, that means there's a total of 8 drivers that we're going to be using. 4 drivers for the demon eye and 4 drivers for the halo, and they are labeled so you know which one goes where, and the JST connections are color coded, that way you don't make a mistake plugging it into the wrong one. On this side we have the halo JST 4-way splitter. Here are the 4 drivers, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and here are the white GST connections. They will tell you here that it says driver required output to LED, so this JST connection is going to hook up to the GST connection coming out of the headlight, white on white. The one that says demon eyes has a 4-way splitter for GST for the drivers is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and on the very end this is the same concept, driver required output to LED, and this is going to go to the black connection coming out of the headlight. Now, the demon eye drivers do have these 4 black wires coming out of them. These are designed if you want to wire them up to the headlight low beam harness to shut off the demon eye kit whenever the headlights turn on. We will leave a T-top connection there available for you to hook it up in the event you want that feature to actually work. That's what those are for. For this specific build, our customer has selected the XK Glow controller. So this 4-way splitter for GST connections are designed for the 2-channel Bluetooth controller, which is located here. This controller has 4 wires coming out of it. It has a red wire. This wire is a bonus feature in the event you want to wire up, let's just say, a multicolor kit to the rear of the car, and whenever you hit the brake lights, it will activate the red LED. In this case, we're not using it, so don't worry about it in this video. Right next to that one is going to be 2 more connections. These are the actual inputs for the controller for the GST plugs that are made here. And the way they hook up is by snipping it on, clicking it, and it's a done deal. There's 2 of them, channel 1 and channel 2, and that's how they're pre-wired for this kit for channel 1 and channel 2. The 4th wire is this one. This one is the main power source for the controller, and the way that it's hooked up is through this harness right here. This harness has a built-in kill switch. This is designed to kill power completely off the XK Glow controller in the event you're not going to drive the vehicle for a period of time. Let's say if you're not going to drive for 2 weeks or up to a month, or you're going away on vacation, you press a kill switch and it shuts off power completely to the controller. That way it doesn't drain the battery. XK Glow controller to receive power, and then you hook the positive and negative terminals to the actual battery, and let me show you where that is located. Here's your WRX STI or your WRX Limited. I'll show you where the battery is located and where these terminals need to be plugged into. You have the hood open, you're able to find the actual battery. The battery is on the driver's side position, right behind the driver's side headlight. So you're going to hook this connection to the positive terminal and the negative terminal of the car. Positive terminal is located here. It is covered. You just take it off. There is a bolt. You unscrew the bolt. Once it's unscrewed, hook up the red positive connection to it, lock the bolt in, and it'll be secured. Now for the black wire, which is the ground, you have 2 options to connect it to. You can connect it to the negative terminal on the battery, or you can connect it to the actual ground of the chassis.
We prefer connecting it to the actual ground of the chassis. In the event we need to replace the battery, you don't have to worry about forgetting to hook up that negative terminal, because you do have to take this guy off in order for you to replace the battery. And the positive one, you don't really have to worry about it because it's already connected here versus here. Again, use this bolt to hook up the positive terminal. Position your XK Glow controller. We like to position it to be within reach. You can either get a double-sided tape, stick it to the back, and stick it right here to the actual casing of the battery. That way it's within reach. That way you can get your phone to pair to it by putting your phone nice up and close and tapping it, and it'll automatically sync. Or you can put it right here where it's within eye's view. For us, we just like to have it hidden. That way no one knows what we have, no one knows where it is, and we'll place it right there, right next to the battery. I'm going to show you how and where to position the drivers for the halos and the demon eyes. Right now we have them laid out on the floor right in front of the actual STI to give you an idea of where everything is going to go. Since the controller is going to be located behind the actual headlight, the majority of these drivers will be right behind the actual headlight housing. On the headlight housing, I'm going to lay these down, you're going to want to use 2 of each of these connections for the halo and the demon eye to be left behind the headlight, and you're going to choose another 2 of each connection to go all the way to the passenger side headlight. So you're going to source those out. So here's one. These are the halos, since they have the white JSC connections. And we have 2 more, which are the black connections for the demon eye. The wiring is tied up. You do have to loosen this up in order for you to get the wiring to come across and then hook it up to the opposite side of the headlight. This is how the wiring needs to be laid out behind the crash bar. So the wiring from here to here will be right behind the bumper, behind the crash bar, and these connections are long enough to reach the passenger side headlight, where you will find the GSD connections for the halos and the demon eyes. Again, they are color coordinated to match. That way you don't make any critical errors with installation. Now once that's connected, that's where the opposite side where the driver is, how the drivers are going to be laid out and how the controller is connected to them. You do have the option to double-side 3M tape these and can either place them next to the windshield wiper fluid tank that's behind the headlight, or you can zip tie them all together and let them be supported and zip tied on the OEM harness or any other harness behind the actual headlight housing. Essentially, you want these to be as close as possible to the headlight. In the event you need a maintenance kit or warranty out a driver to replace it, that way it's within a reasonable reach for you. For example, once you have the positive terminal connected and the ground terminal connected, you're going to have these 2 little black boxes. This is the splitter to provide power to the kill switch and then send power to the Bluetooth controller. The kill switch again is designed to turn off the kit completely in the event you're not going to be using the vehicle for a long period of time. In this case, a full 2 weeks or a full month. That way it doesn't drain the battery. And whenever you come back and you're ready to use the kit, you just press it on, the blue light will turn on, and the kit will be activated. So your XK Glow controller is receiving power. If you look at the controller, XK Glow will be illuminated in white. There is a white LED behind it. Right now it is pulsating, letting me know that it's on standby, waiting for your controller to be paired. If I push the button, it kills power completely to the controller, and the XK Glow is now no longer illuminating any light. That is to tell you that the kit's completely shut off. Once you turn that back on, it will send power back to the Bluetooth controller, illuminating the XK Glow logo.
Now that we have gone over how to wire up your multicolor setup, let's go ahead and show you how to get the projector retrofit to work along with the low beam system, and that requires a bit of wiring, of laying out the relay harness and plugging in the HID system and plugging in the headlight to the relay harness in order for the secondary projector to activate. Here's how it's done. Everything that needs to be done will be done to the driver's side headlight. Behind this headlight will be the connection for the relay harness in order for the HID system to activate both projectors. We do have the connection hooked up here to the OEM low beam system, and this connection will be hooked up to the relay. Now let's show you the relay and how the relay is laid out. And then on top of that, this is the connection for the igniter. This igniter is what triggers the bulb, and the igniter is hooked up to the HID ballast. Well, here's your HID ballast. Here is your igniter. You connect this part of the igniter to the ballast through here by snipping it on. That's snipped on, you hook up the igniter to the actual bulb connection coming out of the headlight. Connected, you hook the ballast to the actual relay harness. There's a relay harness. Don't let that scare you. I'm going to show you how this is all wired up and connected. Back to the STI. The relay harness does need to be hooked up to the battery, and it is laid out similar to the Bluetooth controller that we wired up a little while ago. So let me show you how everything needs to be laid out. So the relay harness has 4 connections,
as a connection for the ballast that goes to the passenger side headlight, a connection to the ballast that goes on the driver's side headlight, a connection for the OEM input that comes out of the headlight, and then a connection for the positive terminal and a connection for the negative terminal. Are labeled, that way you know which one goes where. So the positive connection will go to the positive terminal on the battery here, and the negative terminal will go on the negative ground connection of the actual vehicle located here. For educational purposes, the positive connection will have an inline fuse. In the event HID system is no longer working, high chances are is that this fuse popped. You need to pop this open and replace it with a brand new fuse. The option to hang the relay harness wherever you want. You can either hang it here, or you can hang it inside or behind, not inside, so behind the headlight housing or underneath the headlight housing. That way you have enough length of wire to go all the way to the passenger side headlight. Lay out the wiring across along with the ballast to give you an idea how everything is connected and where everything needs to be placed. So the long wire that runs all the way across will hook up to the passenger side ballast. Here is a ballast. This is where the relay connection goes. This is where you'll find the igniter that then connects to the actual headlight bulb for the bi-xenon projector. On the opposite side is the same concept. Here's the connection. This is ballast. It hooks up to this ballast. The ballast is then hooked up to the igniter, and the igniter is then hooked up to the projector retrofit on the driver's side headlight. Now here's the empty plug. You're going to be wondering what this is for, and it will say OEM input. This is what's going to hook up to the back of the connection that we made for the driver's side headlight. Driver's side headlight. Here is the OEM connection. This connection will hook up to this OEM input, allowing the secondary projector to activate for you once the low beam system turns on.
The purpose of the relay harness is to have all 4 projectors, 2 per headlight, to turn on at the same time. You still have your high beam, since the projector we retrofitted is bi-xenon, meaning it works as both as your low beam and your high beam. So once the headlights are hooked up, all 4 are turned on, you want to activate your high beam, you can pull the high beam and you'll hear a loud flap or a clunk or click click, and that opens up the flap coming out of the secondary projector for you. So don't worry, you have not lost your high beam.
Here's a better view off the vehicle, that way you have an idea of how everything's connected without seeing a clutter of other wires. So there is a ballast. This goes to the driver's side headlight. There is the relay. There is a positive and negative terminals to the relay. Here is the connection for the ballast hooked up through here. Here is the igniter that goes to the actual bulb behind the projector, which is here. And then here is the OEM input coming out of the harness that's hooked up to the actual headlight that we've already pre-wired for you. So this hooks up right here in order for the secondary projector to turn on with the factory low beam projector.